A professional computer video game player is underestimated just because she's a girl. Not willing to give up, the beauty not only becomes a professional player who can beat everyone, but also shocks guys with her confidence. The series begins with a girl named Cheng and her friend Tong Yeo, who gained popularity and recognition due to her skills in playing computer games. Despite being a girl, Tong receives an offer from ZGDX, a professional team interested in signing her. The team offers the girl to fly to Shanghai to see them play and make a final decision. In the evening, Tong tells her parents about her desire to go to Shanghai, but they do not support her, believing that video games are a waste of time and she should do something more useful. After listening to her parents, she decides to make her own destiny. The next morning, she goes to the airport, where she meets Chao Ru, the team manager, who informs her that she can replace Jamie, one of the players who is out due to a knee injury. In the evening, Tong and her friend go to the ZGDX game against the famous Zika team, whose player is the girl's ex-boyfriend. In the end, the opposing team wins because one of the players makes a lot of mistakes. While the opponents are celebrating, Ming says a touching goodbye to the team, and as a result, Tong decides to become a part of the team. Upon learning this, the ex-boyfriend takes offense to the girl since he was the one who taught her how to play computer games. He would like Tong to join his team, but Tong is not going to change her mind. Angry at this response, Yang promises to get back at her when they meet again on the playground. The next morning, Tong meets the team and its captain, Suching, who is adored by all the girls because of his good looks. The guy is obviously in a bad mood because of yesterday's defeat, but the manager asks the captain to help the girl buy everything she needs for her new life as a professional player. At the supermarket, the girl gives importance to things not needed, which annoys Suching, resulting in the couple not getting along and starting to clash. Fans see the quarrel and film them on their phones, believing that Tong and Suching are a young couple in love. In the evening, the team decides to test the girl's professional skills and are surprised by her results. At first, they underestimate Tong due to her being a girl, but she manages to defeat the captain. A little later, Ru gives the girl notes to study and adapt to playing as a team instead of alone as she was used to earlier. Yang looks at the news and learns the gossip that Tong and Siking are dating. The guy is annoyed by this and can't hide his emotions in front of his friends and teammates. Yang admits that they used to be a couple in love and played together, but they broke up a little later. After becoming a popular athlete, Young started to ignore the girl trying to get the relationship back, and now he regrets it and feels guilty. Currently, Yang texts the girl and offers to resume the relationship, but she ignores him. Siching notices the girl's correspondence with a player from the other team and gets angry, but the girl explains that she is not going to go back to her previous relationship, then writes a rejection to Yang and angers him with it. The next morning, the team prepares for the first practice game to test out the new team member. They have high hopes for the girl, and she lives up to the trust by doing well. As a result of a tough battle, the team manages to win, but Siking is not happy with the game and the result, stating that Tong is unnecessarily careless and impulsive. After the game, the girl demands an admission that she played well, but Suching doesn't want to continue the conversation and draws a flower on the girl's hand to leave her alone. Tong seems to like the team captain, but she's afraid to even think about falling in love with the popular handsome guy. Late one night, Tong's parents arrive in Shanghai and find the home of a gamer team. They are extremely concerned about rumors that their daughter is dating their team captain, so they want to find out if it's true. While the players are having dinner and socializing, growing closer to each other, Tong's parents enter the building and meet Kai, who decides to listen to some music before heading to the others. After dinner, the players return home and are surprised to meet the girl's parents. The mother and father are concerned that Tong is partying with the guys, but the girl reassures them, letting them know that it's okay and it's good company that has become her team. Despite the awkwardness of the situation, the parents accept the fact that their daughter has grown up and begin to trust her. The next morning, a friend visits Tong and helps her put on her makeup in preparation for the live broadcast. Shang gives her beauty tips and how to behave on camera to make millions of viewers across China fall in love with her acting and looks. Sikang notices the girl's appearance and feels sympathy for the beauty, but tries not to show it by maintaining his sullen appearance. Going live, Tong starts reading fan comments out loud, which annoys the team captain, resulting in a fight between the pair. Soon the leader of one of the teams gives an interview and calls ZGDX a weak and cowardly team, as they let a girl play on their roster and canceled a practice game they had agreed on in advance. Rue decides to talk to the team captain about it, assuming that he is purposely protecting Tong from strong opponents. The manager assumes that Sicheng is not indifferent to the hottie, but he refuses to answer the question. The team captain justifies himself by saying that the leader of the opponents is purposely going for conflict to humiliate them, but he will soon regret it. Sicheng thinks that the first defeat may break Tong's self-esteem as a player, so he wants to postpone this sad event. The girl overhears the conversation between the manager and the captain, after which she declares that she won't let anyone hurt herself and is ready for big battles. At night, ZGDX organizes a duel with the opposing team. Tong is very nervous and wants to be helpful, but makes too many mistakes, causing the team to lose. Unable to accept this result, the girl practices all night to improve her game and become a more useful member of the team. Sicheng sees the girl's perseverance and supports her in her time of need. Feeling weak and vulnerable, Tong cries, but the captain calms her down. In the morning, the team faces a wave of resentment from fans who insult Tong on social media because of the night's defeat. Sicheng creates an anonymous account and argues with the commenters, defending the girl after her first failure. Meanwhile, Tong decides to unwind a little and goes to a nightclub with her friend. The girls have a good time together until Chang's ex-boyfriend shows up, determined to win her back. She rejects the guy and he informs her ex about Tong's whereabouts. Yang tries to socialize with Tong, but she wants nothing to do with him. The manager becomes worried about the girl as it is too late and he hasn't heard from her. After receiving a message with her coordinates, Sicheng goes to the nightclub to look for Tong. At the same time, Yang tries to confess his love to her, but the girl doesn't want to return the previous relationship. Yang is not going to just let Tong go and grabs her hand, but at the same time Sicheng appears in the club. The guy defends the girl and responds rudely to Yang, who doesn't want to get into a conflict with an older and stronger opponent. Tong is too drunk to walk, so Sicheng carries her on his back and stops at a child's swing to rest for a while. Back at the team's office, the girl meets an unfamiliar guy named Lu Yu, who frightens her with his laughter. Scared, Tong runs away and jumps into Sicheng's arms when she sees him in her path. It turns out that Lu is Sicheng's younger brother, who was wanted on the team to take Tong's place before she showed up, but he arrived too late. The kid offers himself as a substitute player to play against stronger opponents to hurt Tong. A little later, Lu demonstrates his skill in the game and defeats many opponents, but the team members are still against his participation in the tournament. One of the players openly blames his younger brother Sicheng for their player's injury, as he was the reason for Min's loss and his knee injury. The next morning, the team learns that a video compromising them has surfaced on social media and has become unnecessarily popular. It shows several young men beating up one guy and it jeopardizes not only the team, but also their credibility. Sicheng has to explain that one of the guys in the video was too arrogant and got involved with bad people. Min ended up with him by accident and had nothing to do with it, but got an injury that makes him unable to continue playing. One of the players admits that he purposely published the video to accuse Lu of negligence, because he is the one to blame for the fight and their teammate's injury. Lu attacks the player with his fists and the rest of the team has to calm them down to avoid a fight. A bit later, a team member makes an official comment about the video and reveals that the people in the video beating up Min are players from the opposing team who were angry about the loss and decided to take revenge on him in such a heinous way. After learning the truth, the team forgives Min as he was protecting his friends and is ready to take him back when he recovers from his injury. Soon it becomes known that the team has to play a new match. Preparing for the big game, they practice and demonstrate their skills. Some have problems because the opponent has a new player, but in the end the team pulls off a hard-fought victory. After the game is over, Sicheng realizes that he is very familiar with the new and tougher opponent. Diving into the past, the guy remembers a player named Li Gum. A few years ago, Sicheng befriended him and learned the game by becoming a substitute player for the team. One day, he got a chance to show his capabilities and he earned respect, not only among his own, but also the players of the opposing team. Acting together, Sikeng and Li Gum quickly became best friends, but the guy's decision to return to China divided them. In the present tense, Sucheng receives a phone call and goes to the mall where he meets up with his old comrade. Li Gum promises to defeat his friend and rival during their next fight, and Sikeng reciprocates. Despite their rivalry, the guys have a lot to talk about, so they spend time together playing machines and winning small prizes. Tong and the manager go to the mall, as it's raining outside, and Sucheng forgot his umbrella. As a token of gratitude, the guy gives the girl a stuffed rabbit and then gives her his jacket to protect her from the cold and rain. Upon returning to the office, Sicheng starts sneezing and the team realizes that he has a cold and his participation in the tournament is in jeopardy. The next morning, ZGDX participates in the group stage of the tournament and learns the future opponent. Sikeng feels bad because he hasn't taken his medicine, but he doesn't have time for that now, because the first game is approaching. This is the first real game for Tong as a professional player, so she is very nervous, but the same gives her courage and confidence. Sikeng supports and calms the girl down, and then the first game begins. Tong acts bold and aggressive, which helps the team win the first round. In the second round, the ZGDX team starts to play much worse as the captain's health deteriorates due to illness. Despite this, the team manages to get a win, and Tong is recognized as the best player. Sucheng ignores the victory celebration because of his poor health, and the girl decides to take care of him. In the evening, she helps the guy to take medicine and feels worse because of his critical days. A little later, the girl tries to cook dinner for two, but she can't do the cooking because of severe stomach pains. Sucheng decides to help Tong in the kitchen, and she asks the guy if he has a girlfriend. The guy replies that he will only date someone who plays video games better than himself. Realizing that the girl is not feeling well, Sicheng prepares a hot compress for her and finishes cooking dinner. The team returns to the office and is surprised to find Sucheng and Tong sleeping in the same bed. Upon waking up, the guy is confronted by the other players demanding an explanation. Sucheng doesn't want to say anything about it since nothing happened between them. At the same time, neither he nor Tong can sleep, thinking about each other all night. During the morning game, the couple discusses the previous night and jokes about the situation. Rumors about the couple begin to spread online, which reaches Young. In the middle of the night, he arrives at the team's office to talk to Tong one more time and ask her to take the relationship back. The girl firmly refuses and breaks the guy's heart. Accepting the girl's choice, Yang agrees to be her friend, and the pair embrace. Upon returning to the office, Tong meets Sucheng, who has been watching the whole thing from the sidelines. The guy is very jealous of the girl, assuming that she has gone back to Yang. The next day, ZGDX continues to participate in the group stage of the tournament and meets a new opponent. Tong studied the manner of their game beforehand, which gives her an advantage, and the team wins a crushing victory. On her way to the office, the girl is full of courage and asks the team captain to organize a practice match with their nemesis. She firmly believes that their team will win, which makes Sucheng feel proud. The next morning, the team participates in a practice game against a tie. The girl is struggling due to excitement, making the battle seem too difficult. Sucheng supports Tong in her predicament, which helps her defeat her opponent, after which the team congratulates the girl who worthily replaced the eliminated player. During a tour of the city, the guy revisits a videotape in which the girl is publicly flattered. She tries to take away the phone, as the bus suddenly slows down, resulting in Tong ending up in Sucheng's arms. During dinner, Sucheng's mother calls her son and informs him that she arranged a blind date for him, as she is worried that her son is not in a relationship. This angers the guy as he doesn't want to meet anyone, much less date. The next morning, the team is researching a new opponent, and Sucheng must go on a blind date, which makes Tong, who is in love, feel jealous. At a restaurant, Sucheng meets a very beautiful girl, but rejects her, not wanting to form a relationship. Back at the team's office, the captain spoils Tong with street food and realizes that he feels sympathy for her. It's time for the third game, for which the team has been preparing for several days. ZGDX is the stronger team, but the captain's inexpressive play makes it harder to win. At halftime, A player from the opposing team compliments a girl, which makes Suching angry. Purposely tracking down this player on the court, Suching takes his life as part of the game, resulting in a crushing victory. On his way to the office, a player from the opposing team sneaks onto the ZGDX bus to have a closer chat with a girl. In private, Suching asks him to leave as Tong is his future girlfriend with whom he is planning a relationship. Tong overhears this conversation and gets angry at the guy, causing him to have to flee. Despite the showy fight, the girl is secretly happy that the guy has feelings for her. The next morning, Tong cooks breakfast for the guy, but says she made it for a pet. However, she lets him eat a portion. Suching accepts it with a smile, realizing that the girl was cooking just for him. A few days later, another game begins, where a player from the opposing team arrives with a huge bouquet of roses prepared for Tong. Suching is very jealous of the girl and threatens to brush her if she continues to flirt with the opponent. The team wins once again and climbs to the podium. At one point, Tong almost falls, but Suching saves her and hugs the girl tightly as if they were a couple, shocking everyone present. A little later, the girl is interviewed and she denies having a love relationship with the team captain, assuring everyone that there is nothing between them. The next morning, Tong and Suching go on live TV to play one-on-one to see who is the better player at the moment. The girl wins and rejoices in her success, and the guy realizes that she is exactly the right person to be by his side. Soon, Suching gets a call from a girl from a blind date asking to meet. Tong doesn't want the guy to leave, but he can't hear her because of his headphones. In the evening, Suching meets a hottie begging to give him a chance, but the guy rejects her again. A couple of days later, the team goes to a video game conference where the guys become victims of ridicule from the event organizers. They are put in a frame and forced to do things that might humiliate the players and jeopardize their well-being. Tong defends the team and pushes the woman, causing her to fall to the ground. The organizer would like to hit the girl back, but Suching stops her. At the same time, he is disappointed with Tong's behavior because she acted like a bully. As a result, the team has to take part in a children's competition, during which one of the players injures his wrist. The conference organizer seizes the opportunity and goes live on air to accuse Tong of arrogance and inadequate behavior. Suching's mother, who owns the ZGDX team, decides to confront the girl to hold her accountable for her actions and receive fair punishment. Suching acts as Tong's protector and asks her mother not to punish her severely, only slightly reducing her immediate paycheck. The mother wanted to kick Tong out of the team, but the captain proves that the girl has become a valuable player and she is the best at what she does. A few days later, ZGDX faces another opponent. Suching's younger brother replaces and makes sure the team wins the first round. During the break, the captain decides to have a chat with the girl since they still haven't discussed the incident and its aftermath. Suching rudely reprimands Tong for her behavior and asks her to give him a reason why he shouldn't kick her off the team. At the same time, the guy admits that his younger brother plays worse, and they only won thanks to the opponent's mistakes, since everyone is used to her way of playing. Tong explains that she dreams of winning the tournament and is willing to do anything to remain a part of this team. She admits that she wanted to protect the team from being attacked by a rude woman, and Suching asks that the girl not forget that she is a public figure and should care about public opinion. Before leaving, Suching admits that he ignored Tong for a few days not because of anger, but because he became too kind and soft to her. The team wins, but Tong's disqualification will last a few more days and she is unlikely to participate in the next game. After the game, Suching agrees to go shopping with her girlfriend, but the couple takes so long to get ready as if preparing for a romantic date, which surprises the other players on the team. During the walk, Suching takes the girl's hand, which shocks her a bit. At some point, the guy realizes that it's not worth doing it publicly and lets go of the girl's hand. A little later, the couple goes to a cafe and visits a movie theater, where he notices another professional player from the opposing team. After the movie theater, the couple meets fans who are only interested in one question: are Tong and Suching in a relationship or not? The girl immediately replies that there is nothing between them and they are just teammates. A few days later, it's time for another game and Tong joins the team after being disqualified. On the opposing team, The girl notices a guy from the movie theater who resents Tong and Suching for attracting too much attention from fans, resulting in him being spotted with a girl he has no intention of marrying. The aggressive attitude helps the opponent win in the first round. At halftime, the team develops tactics and Tong meets the guy on his way out of the restroom. He is aggressive towards the girl, but she defends herself and bites her opponent's hand. Enraged, Tong continues to retaliate in the game, making the ZGX team win again. A little later, Tong and Sucheng prepare to give an interview, but before they do so, they discuss the situation with their opponent. The guy thinks he's arrogant and asks Tong to ignore people like that. The couple forgets about their business and socializes until deep into the evening, as they feel good together. At some point, the guy decides to surprise them and leaves, asking the girl to come down to the street at 9 o'clock. After struggling to wait for the right time, she goes outside and sees that Suching is hiding a small kitten he bought, knowing her love for animals. Grateful, Tong tenderly hugs the guy, leading the couple to realize that they would like to start dating each other and do it as soon as possible. The couple is afraid to publicize their relationship for fear of the audience's reaction, so they don't want to rush into it. In the evening, Suching sneaks into Tong's bedroom under the pretext of wanting to take a glass of water to the girl. The couple tries to sort out their feelings and see if they should go public. Suching treats the problem with understanding and is ready for any decision of the girl, because the main thing for him is to be together and feel happy. A few days later, Tong and her girlfriend attend an opponent's game to take a seat among the spectators. A group of fans cling to the girls, but the player notices what is happening and intervenes in the conflict, preventing the spectators from attacking Chang and Tong. After scolding the fans for their behavior, the guy takes his partner away, which shocks the entire audience. Tong follows the couple and sees the guy confess his love to her friend, after which they brush without fear of public opinion. After meeting Suching, Tong recognizes that she shouldn't go under the influence of public opinion and take what fans say to heart. The girl suggests going on a date, and the captain responds by agreeing. A little later, the team tries to figure out if they are in a relationship and catches Tong and Suching off guard. The couple doesn't know what to answer, so the team captain guffaws, stating that he wouldn't date a girl of such small stature. Everyone realizes that he was joking, as the couple looks perfect and can no longer hide their feelings for each other. After holding hands, Suching and Tong head to the mall. After noticing the fans, the girl hides and leaves the guy alone, then comes back to him and realizes that Suching is angry about the situation. The girl declares that she cares about his reputation because the fans will hate him if they see him with someone else. Suching declares that he is not at all interested in this and is proud to be in a relationship with her. Realizing that this is sincere, Tong brushes the guy in public without fear of public opinion. A little later, the couple goes to a movie theater and brushes, realizing that there is no one else in the audience. A few days later, the tournament continues, but people are more interested not in the game, but in the rumors that Tong and Suching are dating. The hosts ask the couple to confirm or deny the rumors, and the guy brushes the girl, unafraid of the cameras broadcasting it to the whole world. Everyone is shocked by what happened, but the most surprised is Yang, who would still like to get the girl back despite agreeing to be her friend. A while later, Suching gets a call from his mother, who is furious and soon arrives at the office to discuss the scandal caused by the relationship between the guy and Tong. The next morning, the mother meets with the couple and asks anyone extra to leave the office. As it turns out, it wasn't their relationship that made her more angry, but the fact that she learned the news from social media and not from her own son. A couple days later, ZGDX fights Team Alpha and is defeated in the first round. The insecurity leads to conflicts within the team, which only makes their game worse. As a result, ZGDX loses a game for the first time in the entire championship. They try to use the break to find a way out, but tension and internal conflicts make it difficult. Two players fight with each other, but Suching tries to solve the problem by pointing out mistakes and suggesting that they stop blaming themselves and each other for what happened. The team is criticized by fans, including the couple in love, as there are those who believe that the relationship has made their game weak. A few days later, ZGDX gets a chance to atone for their sins, and they pull off an easy win, getting back into the championship race. After the win, Tong gives an interview and asks fans to reflect on their behavior. They often insult athletes and say hurtful things, which takes away motivation and drives people into depression. In the evening, Tong receives a package, but it turns out to be a trap, inside of which were sharp blades. While trying to open the box, the girl hurt her hand and screamed in pain, which shocked the team members. Suching was more upset than the others and took the girl to his room to provide help and treat her wounds. At the same time, the team players found a hate letter for the girl in a box explaining that it was a result of her words in an interview. After showing this letter to the manager and captain, the team suggests keeping the girl in reserve so as not to jeopardize her life in the next game. During the competition, Suching is angry and focused, so he easily defeats the opposing team and avoids being interviewed by reporters. The girl asks to be a guide not so angry, but he treats even her with coolness, which offends Tong and brings her to tears. In the evening, the girl is sad and private, but Suching comes to her to change the bandage on her arm. Tong assumes that the guy has decided to break up, but it's not true. He's only angry at himself for being helpless and unable to protect her from trying to harm her health. Suching felt unworthy of such a girl, but he can't live without her, so he brushes Tong and stays in her room until morning. Starting the next morning, Suching starts hunting for the person responsible for hurting Tong. Using social media, finds the culprit, who turns out to be a crazy girl named Momo. As it turns out, she often tries to harm herself and others, and has also attempted to end her life multiple times. Suching realizes that it's all a publicity game, because this way Momo attracts attention to herself and makes people sympathize with her. A couple of days later, another game comes up in which Suching and Yang's teams will fight. The host knows that these are Tong's former and current boyfriends, so he puts emphasis on it, which gets the audience excited. Team ZGDX loses in the first round as the captain is overly nervous and may have hurt his wrist a bit. In the second round, Suching plays even more carelessly, though he tries to sacrifice himself, resulting in a total loss for the team. This event depresses the entire team as another defeat will result in them being eliminated from the tournament. In the evening, the team gathers to discuss the last game. Mao expresses dissatisfaction with the captain's decisions, blaming him for the poor result. Suching confirms that he had an arm injury, which injures Mao and the other team members even more. They are sure they would have found a way out of the problem if Suching had thought about the team instead of himself and relationships. They want to find out the reason for what happened, but Suching keeps it a secret and Mao decides to leave the team. The other players rush after their friend to convince him to come to his senses and come back. Suching closes himself in his bedroom to be alone, but Tong decides not to leave and sits near the door and tries to talk to the guy. He realizes that he doesn't have to rely on himself, because he has a great team and friends who are ready to support him in times of need. The next morning, Suching apologizes to the team and makes a touching speech, after which he is forgiven by everyone, including Mao. After that, the guys go to the police station and leave a statement regarding Momo's case, resulting in the girl's arrest. A couple days later, the semi-finals of the tournament begin, and in the first round ZGDX wins a solid victory. In the second round, they run into trouble, resulting in a win for their opponent. In the extra round, ZGDX utilizes their strengths, and despite the challenges, they extract a hard-fought victory and head to the final round of the competition. Tong brushes Suching, and Yang congratulates the girl and her boyfriend for winning as their friend without any hard feelings or hidden hatred. The next morning, one of the players gets sick and is sent to the hospital with an upset stomach. Fadi doesn't feel so bad, so he asks to buy him some food. After going to the store, Suching finds out that today is his girlfriend's birthday. In the evening, he and his friends prepare a surprise for Tong, after which he gives her a beautiful necklace. A couple of days later, the final of the tournament comes. From the first minutes, the opposing team does everything possible to neutralize Tong, considering her a key player. The girl gets frustrated, feeling useless, but in the end ZGDX takes the first rounds. In the second round, Suching gets a lot of nerves and makes a mistake, causing ZGDX to lose and the score to be tied. The extra round will decide the fate of the national champion, so everyone is focused on winning as much as possible. ZGDX begin to play relaxed and methodically destroy the enemy, resulting in the capture of the enemy base. ZGDX become national champions and receive the long-awaited trophy. Sometime later, Suching and Tom decide to have a wedding to legitimize their relationship and invite their entire team to the wedding.